Hey Disney cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community, or we are your destination to plan, prepare for, and get excited about those Disney cruises. I'm Rebecca, I'm your host and admin, and I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can hear the wedding bells because we are talking about all things weddings on board Disney Cruise Line and maybe some other fun places today. So as you guys are coming in, please say hello, let us know where you're watching from, and let us know if you're thinking about planning a wedding or if you have a wedding already booked or even a vow renewal or something like that, so we can kind of tailor this conversation. And as we get into that, Hunter, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in with us. My name is Hunter Keeling, and I am a travel agent with Friend Like Me Travel Co. So, to get started, I'm going to share a presentation with you that just kind of talks about who I am and what I do with Disney Cruise Line and Disney Cruise Line weddings.
Perfect. And
So,
guys, feel
go
free
ahead.
to send in questions as Hunter's going through. She's so great at answering these on the fly. She's so knowledgeable. So use her as a resource here and don't be shy. Hunter, take it away.
All right. Can you see my screen, Rebecca?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So who am I? Again, my name is Hunter Keeling. I'm concierge travel advisor with and general manager of Friend Like Me Travel Co. My absolute favorite Disney or vacation to take is Disney cruises. I've been on 23 Disney cruises across all five ships. I've traveled with my family. I've traveled with my friends. I've traveled with just other agents. I've taken my kids with me by myself. So I have traveled in big parties, you name it, I've probably done it when it comes to Disney Cruise Line and my travel parties. I have a ton of firsthand knowledge and experience to share with you guys. I love everything from the crew members, the unlimited ice cream, the island, character interactions, entertainment, and so much more. Like for me and my family, I always say it's the perfect mix of Disney and relaxation. The pools, the beach, we just love it.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. And you're planning your own Disney Cruise Line vow renewal. So this is like active information in your head right now.
Yeah, it is. So my husband and I will be celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary next year. And ever since I kind of debuted the artist renderings of the Disney Treasure, I've been drawn to it. Aladdin, Jasmine are my favorites. So that atrium statue really caught my eye and that teal color scheme. So since it's debuting in 2024, I think it'll be the perfect venue for our vow renewal. And I would love to do it on Disney Cruise Line since we travel with Disney so much and we love Disney cruises.
I'd love it.
So here's some information how to contact me. I do prefer email, but I also talk to my clients through phone and Facebook. And I will share this presentation after so you can find these links too in the group.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and I'll put a link to Hunter's page in the comments as well, so you can reach out to her from there too. Multiple touch points.
So my specialties as an agent are definitely those with families, and then also with families who may have food allergies or accessibility issues. I do have a 10-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. They've been cruising since they were just little ones. My son has a nut allergy, and my husband has celiac disease. So we're very well versed in food allergies and restrictions there. My husband is also an amputee, so we do have familiarity with accessible staterooms. And then beyond my personal cruising experiences with family, I specialize in Disney Cruise Line weddings. I've worked with numerous brides to plan their special wedding on board. And like Rebecca and I just discussed, my husband and I are planning our 10-year vow renewal for the brand new Disney Treasure.
Oh, so much goodness. I love it.
So I have worked with numerous brides to plan destination weddings on various ships and in different venues, including the Grand Hall on the Disney Wish, the Atrium on the Disney Magic, the Outlook on the Disney Fantasy, Castaway Key. And as a woman who's gone through wedding planning herself, I know that your wedding is one of the most important days of your life. And with that comes a lot of stress. So I am here to help you plan and coordinate the perfect day so you can relax and enjoy it with the ones you love on vacation. Because while it may be your destination wedding, it's also your vacation. The wedding takes place a couple hours one day. The rest is your time to enjoy with your loved ones and friends. I will walk you through every step of the wedding planning process. We'll also help from a Disney Cruise Line wedding specialist, and we will just make sure you have the beautiful wedding that you've been dreaming about. I also have had some brides ask me if I will sail with them on their wedding sailing just to help be an extra hand, and the answer is yes. I'm planning with a bride next year that I will probably be sailing with. So I'm always available as, an additional planner and coordinator for your perfect day too.
And Hunter, remind me, your planning services are totally free, right?
That's correct. I am paid by Disney Cruise Line the commission off of your booking, so you don't have to pay me anything extra to plan your trip or your wedding.
Love it.
So where to start? Contact me, your trusted Disney Cruise Line wedding travel agent. First, we'll brainstorm the time of year that you want to travel for your destination wedding. We'll collaborate about what length of sailing is best for your wedding party. I know it's hard to ask your wedding party, your family, your friends to take a 7-night cruise. So we do see more weddings take place on those 3, 4, and 5-night sailings. We could find a sailing that covers the weekend. We will work together to find the perfect fit for you. I'll send you a proposal that includes the price for your stateroom and your wedding price. And then we can also talk about the pricing for different family makeups and different rooms. Normally I send a price for family of 2 in each category room and 4 as well in each category room, just to kind of get a baseline idea for your guests. And then you lock in your stateroom and wedding with a 20% deposit, and the rest is really easy. Disney Cruise Line's made it really easy to plan. So again, I will share this after we're finished, but you can just fill out a form to get started. Super simple, you guys. That's all for the presentation just for a little bit. We're going to answer some questions that we've already received and some common FAQs just to give you more information.
Awesome. Yes, it sounds like so far a wedding on board a Disney cruise is sounding pretty great. So how do you go about reserving a wedding or a vow renewal?
So the easiest way is to contact your travel agent, whether that be me or somebody you're already working with, somebody you're already familiar with. They will contact Disney Cruise Line Wedding Department to check the availability of your preferred venue on the ship or castaway. Once they confirm that availability, they can help you book your stateroom and wedding to get that confirmation. Now, Disney Cruise Line does only allow a limited amount of celebrations per sailing. So that's why checking this availability and booking as early as possible is the best option.
Oh, that's so good to know, because you could have your mind set on one sailing, but if there's no openings, oh gosh, that would be so stressful. Okay, so make sure you talk to
Yes.
Hunter before you make any next steps. And when can you actually book the wedding?
You can book your Disney Cruise Line wedding as soon as itineraries have been announced. So, for example, if you're looking to book for September 2024, so September next year, and the sailing's already out, you can book right now. You can book the day your sailing releases based on your castaway number, like your castaway club.
And I know a lot of times we'll get the question of, is it better to wait for a last minute deal or should I book right away? How do you kind of guide your clients through that?
Disney Cruise Line is not known for releasing promotions or last minute deals. And when we're talking about a wedding, we don't want to be adding more stress to what weddings already are by booking last minute, especially when it comes to guest staterooms and availability and booking flights and getting all your guests there. A year in advance is probably the most ideal situation.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. Yes, you want to help everybody plan and have a stressful or a stress-free wedding
Stress-free.
experience. Yes, no
That's
stress.
right.
And let's talk about cost. I know somebody asked the question about what's the difference between a wedding and a vow renewal, but overall, what does the cost look like?
So there's really no difference between a wedding and a vow renewal other than the legal aspects back home about, getting a wedding certificate. The onboard ceremony start at $3,500 in locations that are not the Grand Hall or Atrium. So the Outlook or the Deck 10 Act Overlook or Nightingales on the Disney Wish, those locations on board start at 3,500, whereas the Grand Hall on the Wish and the Atrium on the other ships in Castaway Cay start at 4,500.
Oh, good to know. Okay. And that's just, is that a supply and demand difference, or just it helps with the number of people that they can fit into those spaces?
The Atrium and Castaway are just those coveted, loved locations, so they
Yeah,
come at a premium cost.
that makes sense. Disney does everything based on supply and demand. So
They sure do.
that is on brand. And I know we just talked about price. So what do you have to actually put down up front?
So it is 20%, and that'll be 20% of your stateroom price and 20% of the wedding cost. So everybody starts at that base wedding cost of 3,500 or 4,500. So 20% of that 3,500 or 4,500, and then 20% of your stateroom. And your wedding will actually go on the same confirmation as your stateroom is. So it'll
Oh,
all
that's
be in one nice confirmation for you. The
that's
add-ons for the wedding are not added until about 60 to 90 days before your wedding. So that's when that $4,500 may increase
awesome.
once you
And
finish your wedding packet.
okay, and we're going to talk more about that wedding packet later, right? Because I'm sure people are
Yes.
like, "What's a wedding packet? Where do I get it?" Um,
Yes.
and do you have to just write one big check before your pay in full date, or can you actually make payments towards your cruise as it's arriving?
You can make payments just like any other Disney Cruise Line vacation. You can make any payment as long as it's $20 or greater after that deposit, as long as you're paid in full by the final payment date. And you can use Disney gift cards to make payments on the wedding package as well.
Love that. Oh,
I just
that's
always like to add this little plug that make sure you keep your gift cards, because if you have to cancel, that money goes back to the gift card. So keep your
yeah.
gift cards, please.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was the worst during COVID. So many people just
Yes.
were out of luck. Oh, that was so sad. Yes, keep those gift cards as a great pro tip. And speaking of things going wrong, if you do have to cancel for some reason, what's that cancellation policy?
So the cancellation policy falls under the same cancellation policy as your room. So if you're on a 5 night or shorter cruise, I mean, your final payment date is 90 days before. That's the same for the wedding package as well. Or the 7 nights and longer, 120 days before, it's the same.
Got
So
it.
everything is due at the same time and the penalty starts at the same time. That way you don't have, which is nice because you don't have all those, extra dates to worry about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it sounds like if you've been on a Disney cruise before, you already know that you love it on board and this is where you want to have that magical
Right.
moment. You're gonna be so familiar with so much of this process already. Love it. And let's move on to this one. So, what's actually required for the planning process once you say, "Hey, Hunter, let's do it, let's book it," you get the reservation? What happens then?
So within 2 to 3 days of us booking your stateroom and securing your wedding celebration, a Disney Cruise Line wedding celebration specialist will actually contact me or your travel agent and you, and to get the planning phase in motion. They'll send over a wedding packet, which we'll discuss a little later. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. Um, and they'll just be there for us the whole time. You are assigned to that wedding specialist. So any questions can be directed towards them via email. You can set up phone calls with them and your travel agent. And then they can help walk you through the wedding packet if needed, but it's super straightforward.
Awesome. And the wedding team on board Disney, they're just as great as a Disney service that you've been used to getting, right? It's not like
Yes,
outsourced or anything. It's still that Disney level, that Disney quality that people are used to.
it is. And you will have the pre-planning help from your specialist prior to boarding. And then there's also an onboard coordinator that you will meet on embarkation day.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So you are literally covered every step of the way.
Yep.
Awesome. And what's actually included in the ceremony price?
So like we just mentioned, the wedding coordinator on shore and on board, 18 guests, which includes the couple, priority embarkation for the couple,
Ooh,
embarkation day meeting with your wedding coordinator, chairs and microphone, officiant, fresh floral for the couple. So whether that be 2 boutonnieres, 2 bouquets, a bouquet and a boutonniere, depending on the makeup of the couple. A solo pianist for the ceremony, a
Ooh,
commemorative Disney Cruise Line certificate, 2-tier wedding cake, Disney Cruise Line fairy tale wedding cake, knife, and server, a
ooh.
bottle of alcoholic and non-alcoholic champagne for your wedding toast,
Oh,
the
nice.
solo pianist again for the reception, steaming services for the couple's celebration attire,
Ooh.
$100 onboard credit, and then dinner for 2 at Palo. And that can
Oh,
be the wedding night or a different night of your sailing, whatever you want.
I mean, anything attached to Palo, sign me up. That's
Right?
awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's I mean, that's pretty all inclusive. I know you said that there are some add-ons, but there's a lot that's included in that price that just makes it turnkey. I love it. And
There
you
really is.
mentioned,
And that's, go
oh,
ahead. I
no,
was just
you,
say if you're having a vow renewal, most times vow renewals are much smaller. So a lot of times it covers, it covers 18 guests, and most vow renewals don't have more than that. Whereas the wedding may, but you can increase the guests. It's just an additional charge per person, which we will discuss too.
awesome. Okay. And how long, I know you mentioned the ceremony and the reception, but how long do you get? Is it pretty regimented?
The ceremony is usually about 15 minutes, and then normally about an hour for the reception. You can increase the length of time though.
Got it. Okay, good to know. And who actually performs a ceremony? Does Mickey get up there and do it or
That would be so cute.
right?
No, you can have a character appearance from Mickey, so we'll talk about that too. But a Disney Cruise Line officer officiates all the onboard ceremonies, and then if you're getting married at Castaway Key, it's normally a Bahamian government official for
Got
those
it.
ceremonies.
Okay, and if you're someone who's religious and maybe you wanted to bring a priest or rabbi or someone on board, are they able to help with the ceremony as well? Or
Yes, you can bring your own officiant.
awesome. Okay, good to know. And is the legal ceremony separate from the ceremony that actually takes place?
It is. So the legal aspects of your marriage and the associated paperwork, like marriage certificate, needs to be filed in your home state.
Got it. Okay. And I'm just thinking paperwork. If somebody wants to get married legally at home, should I wait to renew my passport and get my name changed and all that until after the cruise?
Yes, absolutely. Unless you're like, this is a vow renewal and you're already married, I do not recommend changing your name until after your destination wedding or honeymoon. That way you don't
Awesome.
have any snafus with waiting on a passport, it coming late, or anything like that. Just wait till you get home.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say I can only imagine the horror of like this thing is just not matching up and you not being able to get on board. So that's a great tip.
Yes.
So then once you actually get on board, where do you go to meet the wedding coordinator? And then when do you do that?
So you will meet your wedding coordinator on embarkation day, usually mid-afternoon, and that meeting place is set forth like prior to embarking. So the meeting place may vary, but it is definitely the first day in the afternoon.
Got it.
And
So
you
don't
need to arrive to port so sometimes people will have later port arrival time, but for the bride and groom, you need to be at the port no later than noon. And you have priority embarkation anyways.
got it. Okay, good to know. And I had another question for you, and it totally just escaped me. It'll come back. Let's move on to this one. So, how many guests can Disney Cruise Line accommodate for your wedding?
So most venues only accommodate, like the atrium, a lot of times will only accommodate up to 40 guests. Special accommodations are required for parties over 50. And then, like I mentioned, the 3,500 or 4,500 only includes 18. So any guests count over 18 is $20 per person additional.
Got it. Okay. And it just came back to me. So I know you mentioned port arrival times. If I'm doing the check-in process for myself and my partner, my spouse, whoever, um, do we still select a port arrival time and we just ignore it, or is that
Yeah,
kind of
your online check-in will still prompt you to choose a port arrival time, but it really doesn't apply.
Got it. Okay, good to know. Thank you for letting me get that one in. And then what happens in the event of bad weather? I know we just saw that recently with a couple of the ships not being able to
Yes.
dock. So what happens if things just don't go as planned?
So safety is obviously the number one priority for Disney Cruise Line. In the event of inclement weather, your onboard wedding coordinator will find the best indoor location for your celebration. Your onboard coordinator will notify you, your guest, and everybody else that is involved in the ceremony, like with florals and the cake reception, everything. Everybody will be notified. It's important to know that the cruise staff will make every attempt to preserve the original plan, and they may simply just be able to adjust the time.
Awesome.
So if it looks like maybe there's going to be, afternoon rain, they move your wedding to the morning, or vice versa if you're in an outdoor location.
Got it. Okay, good to know. And I know we'll get this question of if I booked a Castaway wedding and then I get moved into the Outlook and there's that price difference, am I going to get a refund?
You're not. No, it's weather permitting for those outdoor locations, and they just do their best to accommodate and move if needed.
Got it. So it's just like with any wedding ceremony, you've got to be flexible and know that nobody, even Disney, can't control the weather. So
Yeah,
know that Plan B can't happen, but Disney will do
it's
their
really
best.
no different than at home when people get married outside. You
Yeah,
just have to
you got to
hope for
switch.
the best, plan for the worst,
Oh, so true. And then what about capturing this super special day? Can you bring your own photographer and videographer, or does Disney provide that?
You can bring your own. Disney Cruise Line does have a photographer on board that will be dedicated to the wedding, portraits afterwards, going around the ship for pictures or for pictures. Now, the photo package is not included, but you will have that photographer. But if you would like to bring your own photographer or videographer, you absolutely can. But one thing to know is they are included in your guest count.
Oh, that is
Same
good.
with officiant as well. If you bring your own officiant, they're included in your guest count.
Got it. And you mentioned the photo package is not included. So if you want the pictures that the Disney photographer is taking, you'd probably recommend purchasing that before you get on board to save, right? Because there's a discount.
There is, but the photography package for the weddings is a little bit different. So there's several different options, and that's something that you will choose with your wedding specialist in your packet.
Got it. Okay.
It's a little bit more expensive than that normal cruise portrait wedding package.
Good to know. Okay. So that's something you just have to decide. You kind of talk through with your coordinator, talk through with Hunter, and figure out what's going to be most important to you and your family. And are you able to book a post-cruise portrait session at Walt Disney World? I love this.
You are. So your wedding specialist can put you in touch with the Disney Fairy Tale Wedding planners at Walt Disney World, and they can get you that theme park portrait session that a lot of people always dream of, or Disney lovers.
I was going to say,
so
I love
that
it.
Can be accommodated.
Oh, I have some family that got married at Disney World, and it was so magical. Oh my gosh, just every part of it. And we did get the question. Oh, go ahead.
We had some friends get married at Board last year, and then we did like a honeymoon celebratory cruise on the Wish. But their pictures from their boardwalk wedding were stunning. And then, of course, their honeymoon celebratory cruise on the Wish was fantastic. We had so much fun.
Right? Like you can't go wrong. And we did get a question, can they accommodate food allergies with the cake? Half of the people involved would have celiac.
They can accommodate food allergies. The offerings may not all be the same, but they can accommodate. I always kind of compare it to Palo. How they can accommodate the chocolate souffle. They can accommodate the cake as well. You just may not be able to have all of the same fillings or cake flavors.
Okay, good to know. And can we include a reception and dancing when it comes to Or I guess, can you include like music and dancing and all that in the reception, or is it just the pianist and maybe some light hors d'oeuvres going around?
No, you can include music and dancing. Sorry if you hear that background noise. My puppy is going haywire around here.
No,
Um,
it's okay.
if you want like a certain playlist of songs, those are usually provided by you on your device.
Oh,
So
awesome.
keep that in mind that you would want it downloaded on your device, not like a streaming service, um, because of the Wi-Fi could be hit or miss.
Yeah.
But you can also do the pianist, and you can also get an enhancement in additional performers.
Okay, good to know. And what's actually included in the reception? Is there anything?
The cake and champagne toast.
Got it.
And then there is the option to add on hors d'oeuvres and other beverage and food options. There's hot and cold. That is
Oh,
part of the premium add-on for reception parties.
love it. Okay, so ways to customize
So
everything.
yes, just for like an example, on the Disney Wish, the reception location is always the Bayou.
Okay.
So the like one of my brides is having her wedding in the Grand Hall, and then they just moved to the Bayou for the reception. And then one of my brides that got married on the Fantasy, everything was in the Outlook. The wedding was in the Outlook, and the reception was in the Outlook.
Got it. Okay. So there's a game plan. You don't have to think about anything. Disney will help orchestrate all of that and move you around if you need
True.
it. And I know you hinted at this earlier, but can a character come to either the wedding or the reception?
Yes. So character appearances are available for 30 minutes, and the first character is $1,000. And then after that, each additional character is discounted. But
Oh,
I
that
want
would
to
be
know in the comments, what character or characters would you have for your character appearance? Because I'm really struggling. Like, I want Mickey and Goofy, but I feel like that's an odd combination. But those are my two faves.
I say lean in. And do you know, do they come dressed like, I know Mickey has a formal night outfit, most of the Fab Five do. Do they come all
Yes.
dressed up, or is it their
You
regular
can
stuff?
get them in their formal attire, or you can get them in their normal cruise nautical themed attire. I would have to check if you're on a themed sailing, if you can, like, for instance, Very Merry Time, if you could get them in their. That's a good question that I just thought of myself in my head. If you can get them in their Very Merry Time attire, I'm sure you can, but you can definitely get them in their formal or their regular nautical themed attire.
Oh, I love it. That's such a special addition. I mean, how often, who do you know that has had Mickey Mouse at their wedding? I love that. I feel
Right.
like
And it doesn't have to be at the reception venue. You can do it like out. One of the most popular locations, because it's an awesome picture spot, is by the funnels.
oh, that would be cool. So you can have them come to like the photography session. Oh, I
Right.
love that. Okay. Man, I feel like I'd have to go Mickey and Minnie, but then I just think about some of the princesses and like we're both in great dresses. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
know.
Oh man. And what about hair and makeup? Just speaking of feeling gorgeous, can you get that done on board? And what about men if they wanted to get a shave or haircut?
You can. So, since a spa and salon offers hair and makeup services, of course, it's at an additional cost, but they can accommodate appointments. There is a limit on the appointments, but they can accommodate.
Awesome. Okay. And is that something that you would just book ahead of time?
Yes, it can be added on to it's actually in the wedding packet.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And that sounds like a great transition. And just one more question. Can you get married on pirate night? Fireworks would be amazing on my wedding night. Is there any
You
restriction
can
on that?
get married that day, but not during like the actual show.
Got it. Okay.
But you could definitely go up there with like you could request your photographer during that time frame and get like positioned to where the fireworks are behind you for photos in your wedding dress.
Oh, that would be amazing. And do people
Yes.
wear, I know I've seen the Mickey bride veil and the top hat. Do people wear those ears on board if they're getting married?
I have seen it. I'm sure not everybody does, but I've definitely seen them. I
Awesome.
I say this question actually a lot in the group. Do people wear ears on board? They do. It's not as much as in the parks. But you'll definitely see some people on board. I have some favorite, oh, where are they at? They're not right next to me, but I have some favorite Disney Cruise Line ears I always wear on embarkation day because it's a cute picture.
Right. I was gonna say it's your vacation. If ears make you happy, wear the ears. I love it.
Absolutely.
And I know that is the list of questions that we had beforehand, but you had a sneak peek into the wedding packet, right?
Yes. So let me go through what's like the included customizations and then enhancements, and then we'll take a look at that wedding packet. So let me share my screen again.
And if you guys have any questions for Hunter while we have her, feel free to send those in as we get into these customizations.
Yes. So let's talk about the venues first. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So each ship has different venues. So the Magic, the Atrium, and that Deck 10 aft overlook. This is a stunning location. I feel like it's completely underestimated, but beautiful. And then Castaway, of course, I asterisked it because that Magic isn't always on an available itinerary going to Castaway, but sometimes it is.
Got it.
The Wonder, the Atrium again, and that Deck 10 aft overlook would be gorgeous for an Alaskan itinerary. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're right. Oh my
Especially like the sailing days where it's doing scenic cruising. Oh, breathtaking. Like
man.
that would be the one reason I wouldn't do the Treasure would be to do that.
I don't know. I say you go for it and do both, right? You only celebrate 10 years once.
Maybe
Okay.
my 10-year and 20-year.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. The Dream has the Atrium, Meridian's Patio. For those who may not know, Meridian's Patio is the kind of veranda, balcony, or patio, if you will, outside of Palo.
Awesome.
The Outlook. This is a small venue on, Rebecca, help me if you may, Deck 14.
Yep.
On the Fantasy and Dream. Yeah, Deck 14. And then again, Castaway, but the Dream isn't always at Castaway, so you just have to keep that in mind. The Fantasy is the same as the Dream. And then pardon my spelling error here. This should be the Wish. Typo. On the Wish, you have the Grand Hall, Nightingales, and Castaway. Keep in mind, Nightingales is very small, so that's for like 9 to 10 people.
Got it. Good to know.
And then included customizations. So things that can be customized without having to pay an additional fee are the music selection for the ceremony and reception, the classic cake flavor. So those are going to be chocolate, vanilla, and marble. So chocolate and vanilla mixed. And then classic cake fillings. I'll pop those up when we look at the wedding packet because there's quite the list. And then your floral. So you can pick like the color and the style of the bouquet to a certain extent.
Awesome.
Premium customizations. You can order wedding gifts through Disney Cruise Line and wedding, like edible wedding favors. You can also bring your own, but they have to be pre-approved.
Oh, good to know.
I had a Hispanic bride that they have a certain cookie that they have for wedding favors. I do not remember the name of the cookie, but they had those made from a bakery, pre-packaged and sealed, and they did get approved.
Awesome. Okay. And that's going to be important, right? To coordinate that you have all the guests and that are part of your party so that you make sure that those gifts, those favors get into all the right staterooms because
Correct.
The bride and groom are not going to want to go through each stateroom.
Yeah, you don't want to chase that down. Floral enhancements. One of my favorites that I'll definitely do is you can get like a little Mickey crystal on your flowers.
Oh, so cute.
Character appearances like we talked about, and then that photography. So you can customize your photo package and what all you want included.
Perfect.
And then, like we mentioned, you can pay for additional food and beverage for the reception. I personally don't think it's necessary just because all your meals are already included. So if you wanted to extend for maybe like an extra hour for the reception part and pay for some additional beverage, I just don't know that food is really necessary because I always feel stuffed from my breakfast, lunch, and dinner on board. Of course, this is personal preference. I just don't, if you didn't want to spend the extra money, I don't think it's necessary.
I was going to say there's so many chicken tenders up on board. It'll keep everybody happy all day.
Yes. Premium cake flavors, I'll cover those when I open the packet. Premium cake fillings, and then cake toppers. You can bring your own cake topper, but it cannot weigh more than 1 pound, can only be 6 inches, and it must set on top of the cake. It cannot like penetrate the cake.
Oh, interesting.
Otherwise, you can get one of their cake toppers.
Good to know. And I'm assuming you can't bring your own cake on board.
No, you can't. No,
Okay.
it won't go through customs since it's not pre-packaged,
Oh, darn those customs.
or factory sealed. So here's a little sample wedding day itinerary. This is directly from Disney Cruise Line. So you'll have hair appointments first thing in the morning. If you have requested that, your flowers, your fresh florals will be delivered to your stateroom the morning of your celebration. Your onboard wedding coordinator and staff will prepare the location, get out chairs. You may have been on a cruise where you saw them bringing out chairs and tables, and they will organize every detail of everything prior to your arrival. Then the wedding coordinator will organize your wedding party, get guests in their seats, and then they will guide you to begin the processional. And they'll also help you with the bride's train and veil and flowers, if applicable.
Perfect. And quick question
the ceremony. Yeah.
Oh, just a quick question on the flowers. So I know a lot of times people like to take the bouquets back home with them and make whether it's some sort of keepsake. Are you allowed to take the flowers off the ship with you after, or do those have to stay on board?
This is a tricky question. So you can take the flowers, but not like all the decorative flowers, because you can kind of see in this photo right here that they have all these flowers.
Oh, yes.
So you can take those.
Got it. Okay, good to know. So you can get that keepsake if you want it. Sorry, keep going.
No, that's okay. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Oh, after the ceremony, you can have your family photos immediately after, or you can also schedule them for before or after the reception as well. They're pretty flexible on the timing of the photographer because the photographer is dedicated to you.
Awesome.
And then once everyone is gathered, the ceremony is over, they'll do the cake and champagne celebration in the reception location, whether that's in the same place as the ceremony or a new one. You will cut your wedding cake with your keepsake wedding cake and server, and then you'll do your first dance. Guests can continue to enjoy cake and champagne while the photographer captures other moments. And then your family and friends are obviously welcome to capture your photos or videos for you. Your onboard wedding coordinator will leave you in the hands of your photographer for group and couple portraits. And then, like it says, the approximate length of the event is an hour. I typically see them more go towards like the hour and a half.
Got it. Okay, good to know.
So I will stop that.
Yeah. Oh, this is awesome. And I know Danielle's saying she's so glad that we're doing this because she's going to be renewing next year. I feel the same way. There's so much that I didn't know about the wedding process on board. And Hunter, as you're pulling up the wedding packet,
Yes.
I know that a big thing these days is that first look. Are you able to do something like that on board?
You are. They're totally flexible with that photography session and the time, like I mentioned.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Gosh, so there's not much that you can't do outside of the very specific cake topper. There's a lot of flexibility here. I like it.
Yeah. So I love that you asked me the floral question because I didn't think to include that. Disney Cruise Line, obviously those flowers were pre-cut and they're able to prove that those flowers came from the US, which is why you can take them back off through US customs. I would have to find the answer for Europe sailings or Canada because I only am familiar with this circumstance in the US sailings for the Caribbean sailings.
Good to know. Yeah, the last thing anybody wants after a perfect wedding cruise is to be stopped at customs. Nobody wants that.
Yes. So I see a question on where do we find the wedding packages? Contact me and I will walk you through it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I will put the link to Hunter's page again. She is so incredibly responsive. I swear sometimes she responds before I hit send on the email. She just already knows what I'm going to ask. So just send her an email and you guys can kick off that planning process. As you can see, it's so turnkey, especially when you're working with somebody as knowledgeable as Hunter. So send her a note. I just put that in the comments.
Thank you. All right, let's get this wedding packet open so everybody can see what I keep referencing. So once you have worked with, picked your wedding date and been assigned your wedding specialist, they will send this over to you and your agent, and it is fillable. So you can just type your name right in there to send back. You don't have to print it if you don't want. You can see how these have fillable lines.
Oh, awesome.
Type in the reservation number. They make it really easy. And again, if you're working with me, I will do it for you. Like we'll get on Zoom and I'll run through it with you. We'll cover everything. It takes less than 2 hours to cover from start to finish, and that's with lots of chatting.
That is so turnkey. I love it. I'm just thinking about my friends who've gotten married and they're literally looking at like 2 different types of chair color covers. Yeah. I mean, this is so turnkey. Oh,
they make it so easy. All right. I'm just pulling up the sidebar. So, you know how we talked about the florals for the couples, like I mentioned, Disney does a great job of being inclusive. So we can do 2 bouquets, we can do 2 boutonnieres, or we can do the traditional 1 bouquet and 1 boutonniere, whatever you want. Then we choose the style. And when we're going through this, I will also talk through my guests with the options because I have a gallery that I've been provided from Disney Cruise Line that shows these options so that we're not just guessing by this text. So I'm able to show my couple what is exactly a garden floral, what is an oceanfront elegance floral. And then here is where I talk about the floral upgrade.
Awesome.
And then if you want additional florals, like for this ceremony where you walk down the aisle or the wedding point arch at Castaway, that's something we will talk to. See this box, I'm kind of lit up for a minute, but we can type that in there. And then that pricing will be depending on what we request.
Perfect.
Sorry, it's a little finicky here. Then we'll choose the colors of the florals.
Awesome.
And then the cake style. So the classic 2-tiered cake is what most of my guests choose, but they do have the Chef Mickey, which is Mickey fondants around the edges of the tiers.
Oh, cute. And
which is also really cute.
Question on the cake. If you don't finish it all, can you bring it back to your room and put it in the fridge?
They can help you accommodate keeping it
awesome.
Cool for you. And then also you can take some back. I know most of my guests have wanted to take a slice or 2 back for their 1-year anniversary. And again, it does clear customs. I have heard mixed reviews on this just from like research online and talking to other agents, but none of my guests have had any issues taking a slice of cake home for their 1-year anniversary.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a big milestone.
So I'm not sure if it depends on the officer you get, but like I said, none of my guests have had any issues.
I love it.
So here are the standard cake flavors: chocolate, vanilla, marble. And then, like I mentioned, there are premiums. So you have red velvet, orange almond, and chocolate fudge. In relation to that celiac question, I want to say only vanilla and chocolate and probably marble are available for celiac for gluten. And the cake would have to all be gluten-free. Unless you only just needed like 1 piece, then they could just get that from made separately.
Got it. Okay, good to know.
And then I talked about those cake fillings and how there's a lot.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So you have different flavors of mousse, ganache, and creams that are the standard and then also premium.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And then you just need to I know, decide if you'll be bringing your own cake topper. And again, it can only be 1 pound, 6 inches, and cannot go into the cake. It must rest on the top of the cake.
Perfect.
And then the wedding party. Any escorts, if you'll be having your own officiant, that's over there. Then if you want any floral enhancements like that crystal Mickey I talked about, I need that.
Ooh.
There's a ton of different options. Boutonniere magnets, so you're not like poking each other.
Oh, good call. Yep.
Other floral decor. You cannot bring silk flowers.
Good to know.
Just so everybody's aware, it must be fresh florals provided by Disney Cruise Line.
Okay.
They just don't want that extra trash with the silk petals.
Got it. That makes
that
sense.
big, beautiful floral arch at Wedding Point is an additional price if you want to get married on Castaway.
Got it.
And then this is where you choose the music and the format. And this goes into detail. So music device, that's where I talked about.
Yeah.
Bring your own iPhone or tablet, making sure it's downloaded and not on a streaming service. And then your Palo options.
Oh my gosh. Yes, just sign me up for all the Palo.
I agree.
And question, I know it says floral arch at Wedding Point. If you wanted to do the arch on board, can you, or is that not an option?
They don't have the arch on board, but they do create really beautiful floral decorations on board. So they can definitely accommodate something of a similar focal point.
Awesome.
It's just not the arch that everybody knows that they do at Wedding Point.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
And then again, the welcome gifts. So this is the gifts that like you can provide or you can purchase through Disney Cruise Line. Edible wedding favors, not flavors. And then different kinds.
Wow, lots of options.
And then hair and makeup and character options.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine Stitch at a wedding? That would be so fun.
He would probably be a little mischievous.
Yes.
And these are those photography packages I discussed earlier. This most expensive one includes every photo, the digital of every photo. That's what most of my guests go for. And honestly, it's still way cheaper than photography in the States. I have a very close friend getting married next year, and I'm like over here gasping at the price of a photographer and venues and stuff like that these days.
I was gonna say I can only imagine. I know eventually I'll get there, and I just hearing some of my friends and what they're paying for one aspect comparatively, this Disney cruise is sounding like a steal. And I know
it really is.
You'll send this out after, but that font is just a little small. So what are the different tiers for the photography price wise?
So it starts at $350.
Awesome.
And then the most expensive is $1,000. And again, this can replace your photo package that's already like the $249, I believe.
Awesome.
I don't know why this keeps going off. And then again, you can provide your own photographer or videographer, but they will count towards your guest count.
Good to know.
Which is fine, especially there's some excellent photographers out there.
Yes.
And then any other special requests or additions.
Wow. So they really do make it like so turnkey.
Yeah, they do a great job of still allowing you to customize it and make it what you want.
Wow.
And I still really don't think it breaks the bank compared to a wedding back home.
Absolutely.
I mean, even my wedding 10 years ago was very expensive. And my parents did a lot of it themselves. I mean, my mom made, and her friends and my family made all of our food.
Wow. Yeah, just I'm imagining the relief that your mom will have for this 10-year not having to make anything because she'll be on board with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And speaking of dining on board, are you able to coordinate so that everybody in your wedding party can have the same dining reservation or dining rotation?
Absolutely. So once everybody's booked, we will link everybody together for dining, and they will get you all in the same dining room. So groups are placed in dining rotations before the rest of the ship is. That way
Oh,
they can make sure groups are all accommodated.
good to know. And what's the biggest number of people that you can have at one table?
Normally the tables max out at like 10 to 15.
Hmm.
We did have a big party last August, and I want to say we had 2 tables of 12.
Got it. Okay.
Or
So
maybe it
you
was
guys,
bigger than that. I'm not sure, but they had us at two long tables, and they had us in 1923. They had us next to each other, like horizontally, and then I remember in Arendelle and Marble, we were just behind each other with two
got
long rectangle tables.
got it. But you can all have the same server, head server, assistant server.
They do try to get everybody to have the same server. If you have a super huge party, they can't take on that many people, but they would have like two groups.
Got it. Makes sense. And somebody asked, do I need to call and email them to let them know I need my package, or should I wait? I booked the $3,500 package, but now I'm going to need the 4,500. Sounds like it was a good upsell with this presentation. I love it. So is that something you need to call and talk about ahead of time?
Yes, so you need to, since if you're changing locations, that would, I'm guessing, is why they would be changing pricing. You would need to call and make sure they have that available because, like I mentioned, they do only do one celebration per location per sailing.
Got it. Yeah. And the last thing you would want would be for it to be sold out. So definitely do that ahead of time.
And
Um,
Danielle, if you're not booked with an agent, I'm happy to have you transfer your reservation to me. Let me help you and walk you through this. I would love to help you on your magic vow renewal.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And I can't wait to follow along. If you guys are not following Hunter online, make sure that you do so, so we can all stay tuned for what she decides for her vow renewal for her 10-year. But thank you all for watching. I know I learned a lot about Disney Cruise Line weddings, and I feel like I'm getting the wedding itch. I'm like, should I get married on board now? I think I might have to. Um, but
I think you should, with as much time as you put into Disney Cruise Line and your love for Disney Cruise Line.
right, I
I'm
know.
here
I'm just
for it.
picturing Mickey in his tux. 10 out of 10 pictures. Oh gosh. Well, Hunter, thank you so much for your time tonight and for all of the knowledge that you shared. If you guys have any questions, feel free, like we've been saying, reach out to Hunter. She is here to help plan every aspect of your Disney Cruise Line vacation, and her planning services are 100% free for you to use. So there's the link on screen, and we'll put it in the comments again. If you have any questions, reach out to her. But otherwise, we will see you all on board. Take care, all.